Road, Waterford.
Live from Waterford and Dungarvan, this is Waterford at 1 News.
Good afternoon, I'm Sinead. Aherne. Today's top stories. The 18-year-old who died in a car crash in Cork over the weekend has been named. Thousands of patients are waiting at least a year and a half to be seen by a consultant at University Hospital Waterford. Almost €110,000 has been raised on 2 crowdfunding sites to help the family of a missing Irish teenager in Malaysia. While in sport, Kerry are set to appeal Stephen O'Brien's suspension, which would rule him out of the All-Ireland football final against Dublin. Tributes are being paid to an 18-year-old man from County Waterford who died in a fatal crash over the weekend. Jack McGrath from Dungarvan died in hospital yesterday following the crash near Middleton in Cork in the early hours of Saturday morning. Bricky Rangers GAA club have described him as one of their best loved and admired players. A book of condolence will be open at the club tonight from 7pm to 9pm. Former Waterford senior football manager is Tom McGlinchey.
I'd like to pass on my condolences and to the Bricky Rangers club and to Johnny McGrath and the McGrath family on the death of Jack over the weekend, and all our thoughts with the Bricky Rangers and the McGrath family for this very sad occasion.
More patients are waiting longer to see a consultant in Waterford than anywhere else in the country. Almost 41,000 people are waiting for an outpatient appointment at University Hospital Waterford, with more than a quarter on that list for more than 18 months. WLR's Avian Fallon reports.
The outpatient waiting list at University Hospital Waterford is continuing to rise. 40,916 people were waiting for an outpatient appointment at the end of July. It's the highest number since the National Treatment Purchase Fund began publishing the data at the end of 2014. 11,758 people are on that waiting list for a year and a half or more. Nationally, 104,000 people are waiting at least 18 months for a first appointment, meaning University Hospital Waterford makes up 11% of the total. The Mater in Dublin is the only other hospital where more than 10,000 patients are waiting that long to be seen. ENT, dermatology and orthopaedics continue to have the longest lists in Waterford.
Meanwhile, almost 600 consultant posts remain vacant across 10 different specialities across the country. That's according to the Irish Medical Organisation, which says this is having a major impact on waiting lists. The worst effect is in the area of orthopaedics, with nearly 68,700 patients waiting. According to the IMO's figures, the recommended number of consultants for this speciality is 202, but there are just 99 consultants in Ireland working in this area. Former president of the IMO and consultant psychiatrist Dr. Matthew Sadlier says patients are affected across the board.
You know, if the Dublin or Kerry team come into the All-Ireland final with 3 out of the 15 players not on the pitch, they're not going to be operating as effectively and efficiently as they can. So it is undoubtedly that this absence of permanent consultant posts leads to cancelled outpatient clinics, cancelled theatre lists, which then obviously has to have a knock-on effect into waiting lists.
The family of Nora Quarren has offered a reward of over €10,000 for information leading to the return of their daughter. The search for the 15-year-old is into its 9th day, with 353 people involved in the operation. Kim Buckley has this report.
She has been vulnerable since the day she was born. She is so precious to us, and our hearts are breaking. We are appealing to anyone who has information about Nora to help us to find her.
Nora's mother Maeve appealing for help in finding her daughter. The family's offered a reward of 50,000 Malaysian ringgit, which is worth approximately €10,600 for information leading to Nora's return. A statement by the missing persons charity, the Lucy Blackman Trust, says the money's been donated by an anonymous business in Belfast. The search for 15-year-old Nora's entered its 9th day and 353 people are involved in the operation. BBC reporter Howard Johnson says the search party has been growing.
It's the biggest number of search and rescue personnel on the ground to date. We've been speaking to search and rescue workers today who said that they've been through the jungle overnight. No luck, no new leads, no information.
Almost €110,000 already been raised on 2 crowdfunding sites set up by Nora's aunt and uncle. In a press conference this morning, Malaysian police said that Irish, British and French authorities are assisting in the investigation.
There's calls for repair works to be carried out on a former religious institution in Waterford City. St Joseph's House on Manor Hill is on the market with a €3 million asking price. The property's border extends along Hennessy's Road, and independent councillor Donald Barry says it's overgrown and needs to be addressed.
And to have the overgrown trees blocking the footpath on Hennessy's Road cut back, the rubbish removed from the site, and action taken to secure and repair the wall there, as it may very well constitute a danger under the Derelict Site Act.
He says part of the wall collapsed.
It was never repaired back, so what happened was trees in behind it grew out, blocked the footpath. People then came along, dumped bags of rubbish, dumped clothes, the usual. Nothing was done about the site, so I was contacted by people in the area trying to have something done with regard to the situation.
Talks to try to resolve a dispute over low beef prices paid to farmers are due to get underway in the next hour. Protests at beef factories in Waterford and across the country have been suspended while the discussions take place. Representatives from the Irish meat industry, farmer organisations and the Beef Plan movement will attend today's talks. Irish Farmers Association President Joe Healy says stores as well as processors are to blame for the fall in prices.
Retailers, in my opinion, they're bigger culprits in all of this than the processors. They just get involved in unsustainable discounting and they don't care or don't think of who's at the end of the line. But unfortunately, it's the farmer that's at the end of the line. And the retailers have to start realising that they're making their profits on the back of the top quality product that Irish farmers are producing.
14% of working age households in the southeast have no one in employment. The worst black spots are in the southeast and in the Midlands. Nationally, 9% of people aged 0 to 59 live in a household where no one has a job. According to the Irish Examiner, it reaches 12.6% in Waterford, Wexford, Carlow, Kilkenny and South Tipperary, and the figure rises to 14.5% when those under the age of 18 are identified. The wait is almost over for thousands of Leaving Cert students. The Samaritans is advising the almost 60,000 pupils to put well-being ahead of grades, ahead of the results coming out tomorrow. It's urging them to keep things in perspective and is asking teenagers and parents to support those who are struggling to cope. Director of the Waterford branch of Samaritans, Anne Woodworth, says help is at hand for those who might be getting stressed.
If all I'm doing is agitating myself, that can cause a lot of distress. And very often, too, that distress is hidden. We don't necessarily admit to feeling really down about things that are not working our way. And sometimes we're slow about looking for help. And this is where Samaritans comes in. We're available. We're there 24/7 if anybody wants to call us.
WLR Sport.
Very good afternoon, I'm Gavin. Whelan. Gaelic Games first and Kerry are set to appeal Stephen O'Brien's suspension, which would rule him out of the All-Ireland Senior Football Final against Dublin on the 1st of September. The Kenmare clubman scored the only goal as the Kingdom beat Tyrone 118 to 18 points in their semi-final yesterday afternoon. He picked up his third black card of the season late on, however, which results in a one-match ban. Kerry boss Peter Keane was asked about the positive impact of substitute Tommy Welch.
Yeah, I suppose, look, there was other substitutes as well that came in and, Tommy did well, but the other subs came in and they all delivered, and the guys that were on the field put in a great shift in that second half.
Galway dethroned minor champions Kerry by 14 points to 13 in yesterday's curtain raiser to book a final date with Cork also on the 1st of September. To news of soccer next. Manchester United made a winning start to the new Premier League season yesterday with a 4-0 victory over Chelsea at Old Trafford. A brace for Marcus Rashford and strikes from Anthony Martial and debutant Daniel James gave Frank Lampard the worst possible start as Blues boss. Lampard, though, says his side are a work in progress.
They saw a team that were trying to do the right thing, and the game went against us, and it went against us very quickly in 60 minutes or so whenever the second and third goal went in, and there's the harsh lesson for my young team today.
Arsenal also kicked off their league season with 3 points ago just before the Armagh from Pire. Emerick Aubameyang at St James's Park was enough to beat Newcastle United by a goal to 0. On the local action yesterday, Waterford FC booked their place in this evening's draw for the second round of the FAI Cup with a victory over Maynooth University Town FC. Goals either side of half-time there from Shane Duggan and Kenny Brown gave Alan Reynolds' side a 2-0 win over the non-league Kildare outfit, who were hard to break down. Alan was pleased to get the lead just before the break.
Yeah, just before half-time, the longer it goes on, the more agitated you're getting. And I spoke about it, that we just need to be patient and keep moving. And Like, we've got to score a few before that match. There's something from corner kicks that we've worked on, things like that. But we were disappointed, but a lot of bodies behind the ball, so it was difficult to break down, as you said.
And the draw for the second round will be made at 5 p.m. this evening. Ireland's Natalia Coyle has qualified for her third Olympics in a row. The modern pentathlete will be heading to Tokyo after finishing 8th at the European Championships in Bath. The result means Coyle now has 12 months to prepare for the Tokyo Games. To golf, and Patrick Reed won the Northern Trust event on the USPGA Tour in New Jersey. He finished on 15 under par in his final round yesterday. Rory McIlroy finished in a tie for 6th on 12 under, with Shane Lowry back on 3 under after a final round of 73. Andy Murray makes his returns to single tennis this evening for the first time since hip surgery. Britain's former world number 1 hasn't played in the format since he lost in the first round of the Australian Open, in January. Murray, now ranked 325th in the world, takes on Frenchman Richard Gasquet in the Masters from 7 p.m. this evening. And finally to racing, where today's action comes from Ballinrobe. The first race there at the Mayo Track goes to post at 5:40. That's the latest here on WR. Our next bulletin is at 2.